Her Illuminating Head, tale number 58 from the Taladorala.
The wind and the rain house upon the rocks as the salt spreads through the blue. The shimmer of their radiant skin burns brightly through the gloom.
Off the northern shores in the realm of the Vikings could be found an enchanting creature, known by some professors and academics as Lux Puella, which roughly translates as glowing seagull. They were a class of mermaid known for spreading salt in oceans and famous for their glowing skin, which lit up in the water and shone brightly. It was said that their beauty could not be matched, and for this reason, many men dreamed to have such a seagull as a bride.
The wind and the rain house upon the rocks as the salt spreads through the blue. The shimmer of their radiant skin burns brighter than the moon.
It drove fishermen crazy trying to catch one, but often being foiled by the clever creatures who escaped such human desires. A fisherman called Osmond spotted a seagull struggling on the rocks. Without hesitation, he risked his own life to rescue her and return her back to the sea. He knelt in the waves of the tide as she waved her hands and kept afloat on the surface, looking back at him. She smiled and batted her eyes at him, fond of her rescuer. Calling out, she sang, "My saviour, my hero, your heart is true. Call to me through the shell, and I will come and aid you." With that, she held a spiraled shell out to him and disappeared beneath the surface.
He risked the perils of the rocks. He was gallant, brave and bold, but the memories burnt from his mind, engraved upon his soul.
Months passed and Osmond continued his daily routine. He would sail out early on his tiny boat, cast his net, gather fish, and then return for lunchtime, where he would trade his catch at the local market. After that, he would head up to the cliff, build a large fire, and light it with his flint, acting as a guide for the coming warships returning home that night. On one particularly windy day, he sailed out early, cast his net, gathered in fish, and returned home for lunchtime. After trading his catch at the local market, he ventured up the cliff to pile up wood for the fire, only to find that his wood was rotten from the rain that had been pouring. Foraging around, he found some wood still dry, tucked underneath, and so piled it up. Pulling his flint out of his pocket, he began to flick and cut, only to knock the stone out of his hand and falling down into the sea below. Osmond panicked, worrying desperately about the coming ships and how they would meet a grisly fate. At that moment, he realised that he was still in possession of the beautiful spiral shell gifted to him by the seagull. He rushed back down the cliff to the beach and blew on the shell, calling out aloud. From the water came the seagull he had rescued.
Hope was lost, dropped in the waves. He blew into his shell. Great fortune held whispers of his name when the water came to go.
She smiled at him. "Dear saviour, my hero, how can I help?" Osmond explained and pleaded and begged for some way to help guide the ships away from the dreaded rocks. The seagull thought for a moment, then spoke once again. "Take my head, for it will glow in the rain and shine out to warn your ships and light their way. But return my head, for if you take too long, my body will die and rot and I will be gone." With that, she placed two hands either side of her face. She twisted her head and rotated it around, pulling it off from her body. Osmond was in awe and in shock. But time was of the essence, and so he grabbed her head, rushed back up the cliff path and stood out on the ledge, holding her head up high. True were her words, and her skin began to glow in the rain, shining out brightly and illuminating the way. The ships were safe, and so overwhelmed by the worry, Usman collapsed. He stirred moments later and panicked that he had fallen asleep. Hurtling back down once more, he rushed to the shore to where the seagirl lay. Placing her head back on her body, he waited and hoped and prayed. Sure enough, her head reattached. She awoke and smiled at him once more. He sighed in relief, and the sweet seagull sang, "Oh saviour, oh hero, you seem so shaken, truly, madly. Don't you realise, you lovely man, not every story ends badly."
The wind and the rain out on the rocks as the warships approach their doom. The light of her illuminating head, a saviour from the blue.
Yeah.